Hi, it's Max, and this is the final devlog for Project Little Star, which now goes by the first Little Star. Not much of a name change, but you know, kinda like the name, so we're sticking with it mostly. Yeah, project's come a fair bit since we last talked about it. Especially now the game actually has a full loop. Like begins, ends, has a middle. We have the menus, so I have an options menu, so we can change things here. I'll make the music louder, sound effects, and whether or not we go full screen. Lovely. Yeah. Whoa. Oh my god. So yeah, as you'll see, a few new little bits on the UI now. We have the temperature of the star. Starts around at 1000 and gradually gets bigger. However, if you press the A button on your controller or space, you can increase the burn rate, which rapidly increases your temperature. So you're probably wondering what the temperature does. Well, it effectively is something that makes your star go faster, but it also contributes to the final score of your star when the game ends. So there is an end state to the game, which you'll probably see in a bit, depending on how well I do. I'm only half paying attention because I've got notes on the other screen. But yeah, the final score is now a combination of how big your star is and how hot your star is. So getting hot early on is kind of like higher risk because you'll burn off more fuel, like your base burn rate gets bigger. But if you can get it over, I think it's around 3000, like you'll start to get a speed increase. So it could be part of your strategy to yeah, try and get quite hot early on and then try and skill your way to grabbing resources, and if you're going faster, you'll break rocks faster too. Originally this was completely unlocked, so I had a build where the stars were literally flying 10 times the speed. If I have a clip, it will come on screen, but I don't think I recorded that. As you'll see, rocks are different now. I redid the sprite work. Not fantastic, but better than it was. And also rocks have been balanced a bit more now. We've got new sprites for the braking. So they used to drop a lot more resources, but what I found was happening was in the middle stage of the game, when you came across a big rock, it would break and then you jump like 50 mass levels up. Which was kind of cool, but it meant that almost every game had that one moment, and then yeah, you get to that big size, and then yeah, you could get to a point of being unstoppable, which is actually why the temperature was added in the first place, was because I needed a way to get games to end, so otherwise you just get bigger and bigger almost infinitely, and your radius, like when you could break and pick up stuff, was like bigger than the screen could zoom out to, so you just literally be sitting and waiting for stuff to just appear and then you just absorb them. So the temperature allowed me a way to start burning off some of the excess fuel. Okay, I'm just gonna get a bunch of stuff. Hell yeah. Other things, so the camera now zooms out a bit further, but it does it more gradually. One of the big things I had from some playtest feedback was making sure the star felt like it was getting bigger, because yeah, I had it so it was zooming out at exactly the same speed the star was getting bigger, so it felt the star was always the same size. You could kind of tell that things were getting bigger because the rocks would get smaller, but also in those early builds the rocks became really big clip on screen now of things getting out of hand very, very quickly. Yeah, we're going to see what we can do here. But yeah, there was a big problem where the rocks were spawning really, really big all over the place, and because they all have colliders, the player would just get stuck, and because the burn rate was so slow, they just get stuck and wait for ages to free themselves up eventually. But now, yeah, there's like a base size and a range, and they increase only at certain intervals. So there are bigger rocks later on in the game, but you're almost always going to be the bigger thing. No more screen-sized rocks that you can't do anything about, because they weren't particularly fun. And yeah, I'm playing this on controller. You can probably not hear the clackety keyboard that I have. That is really loud. I can't remember if I had this earlier or not, but yeah, controller support here. Pretty easy to put in, thanks to Godot's input system being very, very simple. And yeah, that's pretty much the game. It's very, very small. I did actually finish this a week ago, so I did fall within like my project deadline. However, I foolishly put that deadline on the same weekend as the Summer Game Fest, and yeah, I had other things going on, so I didn't get enough time to put a video together like I usually would. But I have time now, and everything's finished and polished, as much as I'm planning to do. And yeah, I got some other people to play it as well during that event, and yeah, did it like the way I want. It's a very simple game, 1 or 2 game sessions, and most people will be satisfied with that. And yeah, it's actually finished, unlike most of the projects I work on, so happy about that. The short development cycle did mean that some stuff was left behind, so I did have some other ideas for things I was going to add, like more obstacles like black holes, like more of a refinement of like this rock system to have different things you could collect. Also some sort of UI to like tell you what you're collecting, because despite that in the game code all of these are like set up with like different element names and different element masses. Yeah, it doesn't translate at all, but that was what you're doing, because it just looks like you're collecting little white and green and red dots. I also didn't have a lot of time to work on sound effect stuff, so I did just grab some assets from various bits, because I cannot do music to save my life. I also used a Humble Bundle from Joel Studler. He does some cool royalty-free music, and that's what you've been hearing in the background. So I spent a bit of time just programming like a playlist system. It just runs through the music as you're playing the game. Just very chill music, just to match the vibe of the game. Yeah, and as you can see here, my run is finished. Yeah, big bang. Got a good score. Yeah, happy about that. Very good. Definitely something for the next project I do is I'd like a more tangible control over level design. Since, as you can probably tell, almost all of this game is some sort of generation technique. Like where the resources are placed, where the rocks are placed. And then there's a lot of like interacting systems, so when the mass changes there's a bunch of signals that go off to inform different components to change how and where they generate. So it's a lot of like trying to think of the best way to describe it. It's a lot of like numbers and stuff, but it's like hard to like quantify it when you're like putting it together, which is kind of fine with me because like I don't mind that kind of thing, but I kind of missed actually putting proper levels together. It's definitely my next project and the big project I'm going to do eventually. I definitely want to make better use of traditional level design. I think that would be really interesting to do. But I'm still super interested in procedural techniques. I've always been really interested in mazes and procedural dungeons for like roguelites. So I'll definitely still try and incorporate those in some ways. But yeah, definitely next project we're gonna be firmly in the camp of something that's tangibly there to build. Cause that'd be good. Just have a look for a moment. The menu code, something I wanted to bring up. That was a bit too rigid to work with for me. Entirely my fault, because I was kind of just, it was like one of the last things I added, so I was like, alright, just make it work, make it functional, doesn't matter. I'm not going to reuse this anywhere, but it did make me think as I was going through it, there has to be a better way, more like extendable way. Like a lot of these things should be like something I can generically program once and then reuse all over the place. I've seen plenty of tutorials out there for doing menus and stuff, so I'll definitely do some research in future, build something a bit more robust for the next project, and definitely yeah, more options would be cool to work on. What else? After that, as you can probably tell, like this video is not like the others, it's very freeform. I'm just kind of chatting. But this is what I wanted to try for the last one, because the other two, the first one I tried to do this, and then I messed up every other sentence because I was super nervous. I'm feeling a bit better today, so I thought I'd just give this a go. But I'd like to be able to do devlogs in a more freeform format. I'll still do editing and stuff. And probably try some things with scripting, but I'd like to be able to just talk freely about these projects as I'm doing. That's way quicker to set up and run through. And yeah, apart from the awkward pauses I'll have when I'm trying to think of what to say next, I could probably handle that in the edit, blessed edit. It can happen, I'm sure. I think I've mostly covered everything on my list. I think the other thing was just programming in general. Like Godot has been really fun to work with. I'm traditionally C#.NET developer, so I'm very used to doing like interface and stuff. But yeah, like it works very well. I'm super excited to see what future things they add. And I do want to get better at how the like general project organization is for these things. I've already started researching it, but I'd like to make better use of all the different programming functions that you can use, like classes and signals and the various other things you can extend from that. Yeah, so that'll be stuff for the next game. Talking about the next game, I will be getting to work on it soonish. I've already got the idea pretty much in stone now, but I'm gonna get myself the prototype finished before I actually start doing devlogs and stuff on it. Yeah, so I'll talk more about that in the future. But yeah, overall final thoughts about the project. Quite happy with what I've done. I know it's small, I appreciate it's not much, but for me it's nice just to have something complete, something I can reference in future. Yeah, something I can share with people, and it's a good starting point to work on new things in the future. I've got experience doing the full game process now, I've got experience making videos, scripting, organizing notes, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, thank you for watching. Yeah, if you're interested in playing this, it's free. It's going to be on itch. I'll link in the description, so please download it, have a few games with it. Hope you enjoy. If you don't, it is what it is. And yeah, thank you for watching. If you're interested in what comes next, you can subscribe to keep up to date. Bye for now, and take care.